2TC, also known as 2 Tower Chimps, is an achievement you can get within this game that is relatively difficult, not gonna lie. Placing down only 2 towers within chimps is a bit of a stretch, but it also depends on the map that you're going for. And as you've seen by the thumbnail, and also by this little indicator over here, we're going to be doing Resort, although we're not planning on popping any golden balloons. I'm thinking of a submarine Dartling Gunner combo, specifically the Energizer with the Ray of Doom. But because of early difficulties popping lead balloons, we won't be pursuing a 502, but a 520, so that the plutonium reactor will be able to pop those lead balloons early on. Once we get to the Ray of Doom, you would regret not getting the 502 path, but within this run we need that lead popping power capabilities, so let us get to it. I think of some barbed darts next, so that we can get some additional piercing. Next, some heat-tipped darts so that we can pop lead balloons. I was going to say camo balloons there, but we'll get to that stage at some point. Next up, we'll be saving 920 monkey monies so that we can place down a wonderful Dartling monkey, which we'll be placing at the very end of the track to fully utilize the straight here. And there we have it. A Dartling monkey, and we're going to place it as close to the track as possible while being able to place it down. There we go, and we're going to lock it into a place, and that is where it's going to be firing for the next infinite rounds. Not really, but you know what I mean. Right, we do want the advanced targeting, because funny enough, it's good to go for submersion support, but it only really works if it's submerged, and while it's submerged, we can't pop any lead balloons. So my way of doing this is to be able to save up 3,240 once we get advanced intel, because there's no point submerging it in order to be able to get camo balloons if there's no reason to. But if we submerge, then we can't pop lead balloons at this point in time, because the Dartling monkey going up to Ray of Doom can only pop lead balloons once we get to the plasma accelerator, which we won't get to for a good amount of time. So we get advanced targeting, faster barrel spin, and then go to the top path from there. Actually, focus firing is a good thing, so we'll do that, and then get that one there. Lovely. I am relying entirely on my Dartling gunner to be able to pop the Moab class balloons, so this is going to be a little bit tricky, because usually it should be both towers that you place down are good against everything, but that's not always the case. Like, you can place a wall of fire monkey tower up here, sorry, magic monkey tower up here to be able to place a wall of fire here, so that any time a balloon comes over here, it gets incinerated 4 times over. Like this little stretch here, you can place a wall of fire, and the balloon will pass over it 4 times around. Now, what we need to do is we'll do some advanced intel, and then faster barrel spin, because we are kind of struggling along with some laser shock as well. But we don't want to get laser cannon until we get the plutonium reactor. P.S. is also a bit of a issue here. Okay, thank goodness about that. Yeah, P.S. is also going to be our main problem unless we get the plutonium reactor and then the energizer. But then once we actually get the plasma accelerator, P.S. won't be a thing, because it's literally an unlimited P.S. spin, I believe. I think it's not unlimited, but it's a very, very large amount of P.S. Weird how on Chimps it disables the golden balloon that comes out, which is quite ironic, because maybe you would want to pursue that kind of run. You know, being able to pop all of the golden balloons on a Chimps run. I think we're there, actually. There we go. We have got ourselves our plutonium reactor up. Also handy to place a submarine within the center of this pool, so that the radius of the plutonium reactor hits as many balloons as possible. I'm hoping we can get laser cannons by round 40, because that's probably going to be the only thing that will allow me to pop the Moab class balloon. Otherwise, we're going to have to do some microing, which is not something that I particularly am fond of. Okay, we've got enough for a laser cannon, which is sweet, but also now we're going to have to rely on our plutonium reactor to pop those purple balloons, because now The lasers cannot hit the pepper balloons, whereas the darts could. But now we've got much more power on our side. So next up will be the plasma accelerator. Moab, and we might slow this down actually, and rely on normal. There we go. Actually, I didn't even need to microwave actually. That went much better than I thought it was going to do. So hopefully by round 50, we will be able to have the plasma accelerator. This is really easy work at the moment. The laser cannon is just obliterating anything that's not a lead or a purple. Okay, now we've got enough for a plasma accelerator. Our issues with lead should be gone. Now at this point, you would rather have the 402, but you wouldn't be able to initially pop those early leads without it. Now our next objective is either the Ray of Doom or the Energizer. I think the Ray of Doom is better off so that we'll be able to pop those Moab class balloons without needing to worry too much. Round 59 could be interesting, but the Moabs or the regular ones aren't even making it halfway across the track, so I think I'm pretty comfortable with Fortified Moab, but it's the 60 BFB which is going to be the first interesting challenge, I believe. But they're going to probably set that along with any other things that have gone on so far. It's like, this round could be interesting, but then it turns out to be not so interesting, or as interesting. Now with Lightning Gunner, I could have just very easily gone for the Hydro Rocket Pods, and then that would just mean that there's no type of balloon that it would be weak against. And then it goes up to a Mad, and then you would need something for those fortified ceramics, because Mads are only good against Moabs. Here we go, round 60. Just obliterated it. And thanks to the plutonium reactor, we don't have to worry about like the ceramics that are inside it. I think we're good until like round 79 or so when fortified. Oh, purples. I love me those purple balloons. Ready magic. Oh, holy. Oh no. The Pierce is looking bad, but at the same time we are dealing with this. Yeah, the Pierce can actually be a bit of a problem because the laser is not actually hitting the what do you call it? The balloons properly. Oh no. Yeah, so that's a bit of a what do you call it? A failed strategy in its own way. I thought it'd been good. I thought this was like a foolproof strategy, but it turns out that I was proof fooled. I think this time we will go for the Hydro Rocket Pods, and hopefully be able to take down those Mars a bit easier. Dartling Gunner down. We're going to need 5,510 for those Hydro Rocket Pods, because I do want a 502 Energizer. Sometimes pink balloons are more dangerous than you think. Remember, DTTs go at the rate of pink balloons when it comes to their movement speed, so they can catch you pretty off guard, especially when you have attacks that are relatively slow and they try and home in. Like let's say with the Phoenix, for example, that tries to hone in on a target, but sometimes can't hit the target because, well, the balloon is going too fast. I'm starting to think 5,510 Monkey Mons is a little too far away. Oh dear. Do we really have to resort to a 520 rather than a 502 sub? I think that's where we're going to have to go in order to get these early stages done and out of account. But I'm not a fan of it. Is Pierce once again going to be an issue? I hope not. And oh, one of those was pretty close to the end of the map, not going to lie. Also, I really love Resort as a map. It's really summery, and it's one of the easiest maps to be able to do a lot of things on when it comes to achievements and stuff like that. Yeah, I think this is also looking like a little bit of a defeat again. Fine. We're going to replace a sub with a Wall of Fire Magic Monkey. And we're going to put you right here. Yeah, around about here. Reason being, you want the Wall of Fire to be in a place where the balloons will circulate around a lot of times. So either here or here, the balloons will hit 4 times. So anywhere along this straight here where I'm showing my mouse. Because remember, it goes along here once, around this little square, 2, around this medium square 3, and then around this rectangle 4. So you want it either here or here. This way 3 times, this way 2 times, this way 2 times as well. So 4, 4, 3, 2, 2. Wall of fire. Sorry, fireball, then wall of fire. Wait, there's something else I should go before it. Something that is quite ideal for these early rounds. We're going to go for a pod, and we're going to go for a ray of doom. Now that is what you would call Pierce. Intense magic followed by some monkey sense for the sense of being able to sense camos and pop them. Nearly there with a wall of fire, and there it is. That is a huge boost in our popping power. Actually, change your mind. Rather than the ray of doom, we're going to get the mad, because purple balloons are going to be a bane around 95. And there we go. There's our darling gunner placed down. Hopefully, for the last time in this video. The last placement put in this video. If you've made it to this point in the video, thank you ever so much. I know we've failed a few times here and there, but also a big thank you for over 1,000 subscribers for this channel. 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. Every time you hit a new digit, it's a little bit of a milestone in its own way. Like, everyone's like 5,000, 50,000. You can also call those milestones as well. Like anything that ends with 0, starts with 1, starts with 5, anything along those lines. But numbers don't matter. What matters is the quality, not the numbers. Exactly, money, not the numbers. We need money though. Money is essential within this game to survive. And without that, we will not be able to purchase anything. Actually, we'll get some shimmer for the meantime. We do not need the decamelization, but we do need the undead balloons. But as you think about that now, we might struggle to pop the first Moab. Because, as far as I remember, these don't really do much against Moab class balloons. Little balloons, yes, like ceramics, rainbows, but not the big boys. Not the big girls. We're a good 1,000 short from the Hydro rocket parts, which would help us out against the Moab. But I think we'll be fine where we are. I thought all the fire would do a bit of damage, and the laser stack as well would be a big help too. There we go. What am I telling myself? That was quite good. And now some Hydro rocket parts, and you know what? I think we are set for the next 10 or so rounds. Sometimes in this game, your issues are not to do with damage per projectile, but pierce per projectile. And in other cases, it's not pierce that is the issue, but the damage that you commit. So sometimes when you have like a huge amount of regrow gem farming, that can be a bit of an issue as that can crash your game. Imagine how like graphics card designers like Nvidia and other companies, imagine if the ultimate test to be able to like test the strength of a graphics card is to be able to find out how far in free play mode that they can get to on Bloons Tower Defense 6. Like what round does each graphics card get to before the game crashes? And it has to have like exactly the same loadout on the map. It'll be the Bloons Tower Defense 6 free play rating system. What round can a graphics card get to before it crashes the game, or before the game crashes? Right, Rocket Storm it is, and now we're going to go for the pod first and then the man afterwards. The pod will be very, very good until the 80s, the 90s and stuff, where we're going to really need that extra Moab damage from the mad. And it'll be mad of you to not get a mad. Say to myself in the past few attempts of trying to do this. Pierce though is still an issue. We can do some damage, but the pierce itself doesn't mean we can fully utilize the damage of each of these two towers. Yeah, the pod is definitely the next thing that we need. Once we get those Moab class undead balloons it's gonna be a walk in the park until the 80s. 3,000 Monkeymons more until the big old undead Monkeymon spawns. Rocket Storm will help with that first BFB. Although with a very long-range tower like the Darkling Gunner, you do have to watch out for your graveyard count on your pod. Because if that runs out of graveyard, it's not going to be able to produce any of these undead. And when you don't produce the undead, well, you're going to go into all sorts of sticky situations that involves a lot of balloon issues. Not balloon issues, but balloon issues. There's a key difference. One of them is harmless, and the other one is incredibly malicious. The one with the A is the harmless one. That's what I was trying to get at. You see, I can do Balloons Tower Defense 6 without double cash. I might do a video at some point explaining what limitations within a game are good and what limitations in a game are bad. So, chimps, nobody's going to complain about chimps being a heavily restricted game mode. It is designed literally to be a very, very difficult mode. But there are other kinds of restrictions, like let's say a Paragon Limit, which doesn't add anything to the game, which makes it more challenging. The only thing it does is prohibit player freedom. Because Chimps doesn't prohibit player freedom. Chimps is there for those that want the most challenging thing within the game. The most challenging aspect of this entire game is be able to try and beat as many maps as possible on Chimps. That doesn't restrict player freedom within other scenarios, but a Paragon Limit outside of boss events does de-incentivize going after those very, very late rounds. So if that's something that you'd like me to cover within a future video, then do please let me know. And then, if you are interested in something like that, please be sure to subscribe, so that when that video does come out, you'll be the first to know about it, along with hitting that notification bell as well. Now, will round 76 be an issue? And the answer is no. There's a little bit there, but aside from that little bit there, no. Because I was about to use my Rocket Storm if there were more regen balloons there. I was like, regrow? But that also works. What do you call them? Regen balloons or regrow balloons? I mean, they do regrow, but they regenerate. A or B? The answer is C, which is whichever one works for you. We are 28k away from the man, and then our Moab class balloon issues will be completely dealt with. There are a huge amount of balloons on this round. I just remember 79, there are huge amounts of regen balloons. So I wonder if our pod will be able to take more down, or will we require Rocket Storm ability to come into play just for that a little bit more firepower. But I think we're good. We're not like Golden Freddy good, but we're good nonetheless. Yes, cursed things to cross over. Balloons Tower Defense 6 and 5 Nights at Freddy's. But I like horror games. As well, this is a horror game in itself. Letting that one balloon escape is a horror in itself. I saw something on the Balloons Tower Defense 6 Reddit, and one of the cursed things is like a defeat, but that defeat is by one red balloon. What kind of videos do you people prefer? Do you prefer like my highly edited all Paragons level 100 solo videos, or would you prefer like the more casual, relaxing videos like this one where we pursue a difficult theme, but we just chat on ourselves? You know, just have a nice chat, just look at the gameplay that is presented in front of us, and just let times by. Because at the moment, in this current stage of the world, it is a rather fractious place. Like, there's always something going on. Some things far bigger than others, or the news would be able to perpetuate what is a bigger set of news to be able to put on the front lines of the news. Because there are lots of things that goes on in the world that aren't reported by those. Here's the mad. Well, there are lots of different things that are invisible to the public eye, and that's either because it just hasn't been discovered, or it's just not that newsworthy. See all those Mario class balloons? They're just immediately eviscerated, whereas we allow the pod to take care of the ceramics, but also be a very good source of Moab class popping power as well. It's those super ceramics we have more of an issue with, but then again we still do have the Mad's rocket ability there that'll help us out actually, with some stunnage and with a laser shock, some, not a lot of, but some ceramic popping power. DDTs spawn on this round, and wait, where were the DDTs? Oh, that's right, the man is there. I forgot. I mean, I didn't forget. But it's just that the man is so good against Moab class balloons. It's like, wow. And when I say Moab class balloons, I mean the Moab, the BFB, the ZOMG, the DDT, and the BAD. It's like a class of balloons, not boss balloons like, let's say, the Lich, or the Balloonarius, or the Vortex, or the Dread balloon in the future, which should have came in update 33, but Ninja Kiwi ran out of time. And by the way, I'm just going to say this right now, how Ninja Kiwi portrayed their thoughts about their initial, goals for a Paragon Limit, I have to hand it to them. Because there are a lot of companies out there that don't own up to their community and how they respond to criticism, stuff like that, and I'm far less annoyed about the prospect that there was a Paragon Limit in place. Like, there still is, but they're removing it from free play, which is absolutely delightful. Like, that is just such a U-turn, yes, but they realize how much a Paragon Limit would affect people's ability to play the game. And I think Ninja Kiwi even put out some statistics about the number of players that got to have 3 Paragons, I believe it is, when a game ends on update 32, and it's only about 0.07% of players, me including, because I wanted to do that 5 Paragon video, and yeah, that's just that sort of thing. So hearing their response, they even put an entire post just dedicated to their initial thoughts of why they were going after a Paragon Limit, is to be able to create interesting synergies and stuff. Oh, that was super close. And this round, and the BAD will be a piece of cake because the BAD is completely destroyed by the MAD. Mad. These old-time class balloons are going to go down. So that's another video I could cover. It's the evolution of the start of the Paragon Limit versus to the where we got to now, the end point of all of this. So that is pretty neat actually. 1.15 million pops for the MAD, and how? Oh, I didn't even mean to do that. So our pod got 892,000. That is not a number to scuffle over, but this is in itself is a pretty big number too. So I could talk about the evolution of the start of the Paragon Limit being the preview notes, and then we go up to the stage where Ninja Kiwi put out an update, and then their initial thoughts, and then their big post saying their Paragon Limit reasons and stuff like that. I think what was it called? Paragon Limit Update, and it was posted on... what date was it on? Oh, for goodness sakes, I don't like it when I'm not able to find the date of when something was initially posted out. Well, the most commented, the most liked comment was 11 days ago, so that could be it. It could have been very end of September, or near the end of September. But I find that Ninja Kiwi handle this brilliantly and be able to portray their initial ideas of why a Paragon Limit should be in place is to allow interesting synergy. So if you're watching this, Ninja Kiwi, which I'd be very, very honoured if one of you were at the studio, I think what you were initially going for is what would happen if, let's say, if you had a Glue Paragon, an Ice Paragon, and a Druid Paragon. What kind of synergies could they put together that couldn't be deployed if, let's say, if you deployed a Super Monkey Paragon, which I'm hoping would be the very last monkey that would receive a Paragon treatment, simply because the VTSG in its own way is a Paragon. And then by that stage you would have essentially two Paragons, the VTSG and the Super Monkey Paragon. The Super Monkey Paragon, the Ninja Paragon, and the Ace Paragon, like, what kind of synergies could 3 towers offer up that another set of 3 towers would not be able to perform, but what could they do? Like, is this synergy just designed so that other towers can do more damage? Is this set of synergy of towers just designed for raw damage? I even heard that with the planes that the Goliath Doom ship deploys, that there's going to be some kind of synergy with the Navarch of the Seas. So there's going to be synergies with Paragons, which is a very exciting prospect. Although some of us would just wish that Paragons would have, like, let's say, jungle drums or any other kind of benefits that it gets. Like, imagine an alchemized, ultra boosted, like, Navarch of the Seas. Like, imagine how mad its grappling ability would be. Like, it would just pull every 0.01 second. That would just be crazy. And they've Ninja Kiwi put, like, with the fact that they're going to release the Paragon Limit in free play mode, I think one of the things that they said was like, if you want to melt your RTX 4090 when it goes around 500, then you should be able to do that. I'm thinking, yes, absolutely. If the player wants to do that, then they should have the opportunity to be able to do that. Anyways, I'm rambling off this the initial video, which is a 2TC. And we were able to do a 2TC. Won't be able to last much longer though, but I'm sure there are other synergies that would work with 2TC. Like, you could probably make an Inferno Ring work, but at the same time you would need something to be able to decamelize balloons. And Inferno Ring, not good against purple, so you need something that is good against, well, purple. Thank you ever so much for watching, people. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, what you think about both the 2TC and also as well the other things that we talked about within the video, such as like what news in the world remains invisible, and what you thought about the response from Ninja Kiwi regarding their Paragon Limit update ideas, because I think they came from a good place, but when we initially sort of thinking, nah, that should be immediately rectified, except boss events. Like, having restrictions within a boss event, that is incentivized, because it says, okay, what can we do? Okay, we can't place Ben down, but we also cannot place down a Master Builder. So what else do we have? Well, we do have the Monkey Ace, we have the Dart, we have the Boomerang, we have the Ninja, we have the Buccaneer, even though there's limited space to put Buccaneers on Adora's Temple. But limitations, if it doesn't affect the whole game, are very good. Like, let's say, as well, I'm not going to continue that, let's say, yes, primary only, that's a good restriction, because it means that you can only use primary monkeys. Deflation is a good limitation because it deflates how much money that you can spend. Medium, military only, or do they start from the opposite end of the track? Apocalypse, like balloon waves don't end. Hard, magic monkeys only, like if you don't have like ninjas deployed or druids deployed, then those purple balloons will be a big hazard. Double HP, another kind of limitation, because you've got to think of towers which are very, very good against mob class balloons. Half cash, like that one, you just really just go up for like primary monkeys with some support towers. Alternate balloons rounds, like say, like I don't expect to see this camo on this round. It's too low a round. It caught me off guard. Like there are limitations which are thoroughly good because they do not dampen an experience such as easy standard or hard standard or sandbox. Like, Paragon Limits affects everything. And I mean everything. Like, if you want to go on standard, you're prohibited. You want to go on primary only, you're prohibited. But C.H.I.M.P.S does not prohibit easy standard. Like, there are modes that provides limitations, and that's where those limitations are encouraged, not discouraged. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves.